everybody, and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where you boys, we always got something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. We got some more free agent stuff to discuss today, but keep in mind, everybody, it is all under the umbrella of whether or not we should actually believe this or not, because this offseason, man, my heart has been broken too many times. So we're going to talk about that. I also want to take a lot of your questions today. I think it's going to be a nice, chill stream. It should be a good one. I'm your host, Nicholas Playalot.
Yeah, I'm your host, Adam Peddle. Yeah, we got another player that the Blue Jays are interested in. Whoa! Aren't you just jumping out of your seat in excitement?
News!
No way! This is huge!
Yeah,
it's guys, believe it what you will. Look, the Blue Jays are in on everybody, and they're missing everybody. And we're going to break down a few guys, and you can probably tell by the thumbnail if you are watching on YouTube which one of those guys are. And we're also linked to a trade, apparently. But this literally, that, I'm going to say right now, has zero legs.
Right.
And you've been seeing it going around the internet. So we're going to kind of hopefully, navigate your expectations a little bit.
Well, I think this offseason is all about managing expectations if you're a Toronto Blue Jays fan, right? I mean, if you're an LA Dodgers fan, not at all. Like, you're loving life. But if you're a Blue Jays fan, we just got to, I think we've all learned a lesson here that, walking into the offseason and probably walking into this next season of regular season baseball, it is about managing expectations, because sure, we can have all the hopes in the world and we can read all the articles from all of these analysts who say, they're linked to this player, but what does that actually mean? What does that actually mean?
It could be as simple as, hey, calling agent's office, hey, how is he?
That's
what's the market looking like? Is that what's the offer on the table? Oh, okay, cool, thank you, bye.
Yeah,
it could be straight up that.
It literally could be, right? I mean, and when people say sources are telling me that the Jays are linked to blank, it could literally be some B-list guy who's part of the organization who heard from a guy that maybe they did that.
Yeah.
So really, I think we've learned our lesson today and this entire offseason, that these rumors are just as they are, rumors.
Yeah, because if you think about it too, I'm thinking about from an agency standpoint. If I got a call from any team, I want that leaked. I want that leaked, because then I want other teams to go, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta go put in a bigger offer or whatever it is, right? I need some hype going on here. So believe it or you will, but the Blue Jays, apparently, they're in and interested on Jorge Soler. And this is actually the first time that we've heard this offseason that we are interested on Jorge Soler. We've had other people kind of connect us saying this would be a great fit. They need a powerful bat. And but this is the first time that the Blue Jays actually have interest. And this is coming from Mark Feinsand.
Yeah, let's flash over there right now, everybody. And keep in mind, folks, Ross Atkins just the other day came out and did say they are still interested in one more guy, and that position that he would play would be either DH or outfield, which is effectively exactly what Jorge Soler would do.
Jorge Soler literally split time between DH and corner outfielder for the Miami Marlins last year. And when you look at the Toronto Blue Jays outfield right now, you got basically two center fielders, and then you got George Springer, who was a center fielder. So this guy ain't playing no center field. He's perfect on the corners. So right here you have the score kind of saying it. I brought this up because it's got a nice graphic. Also, quick shout out to Battlegrounds, guys. Go check it out if you haven't already. Bring your girlfriend, bring your boyfriend, bring your parents, bring your friends. It's a great time, guys. They got coaches there. Enjoy. Check out Battleground on their website. But then you got a flash over here. This actually came from Mark Feinsand. And just talking about, just if I scroll a little bit down here, we got what teams would be interested. This is an article talking about like Hernandez, Martinez, and Soler, about what teams are interested.
Which I will mention, I mean, are all guys that fit that outfield and DH role. And I mean, we can talk about it a little bit later in this podcast or episode if you want. But they're also linking the Jays to Martinez, which we kind of already knew. And they're already also linking the Jays to Hernandez, which we kind of already knew. But this is the first time that he does come out and say that, the 2021 World Series MVP has also drawn interest from the D-backs, Blue Jays, and Red Sox per sources.
Per sources.
Yeah.
Per sources.
Per sources.
Sources confirmed.
Per sources.
Sources. Honestly, on some of these sources, bro, I'm just like, is it a classic, hey, trust me.
It's one of those, dude. It's literally like a, hey, trust me, bro. And also, let's face it, man, like, this information is coming out right now, I mean, Mark understands the climate of where we're at right now. He knows that Ross Atkins just said we're interested in a DH and an outfielder. So realistically, his quote-unquote source couldn't be that strong, but he understands that when he is putting this out here, we are kind of inclined to believe it, considering what the GM just said.
It could be. I mean, he's also mentioning other teams, too. So maybe it's not just the Toronto Blue Jays, but you also got to consider, too, the way this article starts is talking about, well, Cody Bellinger is still on the board, and he's expected to go sometime at the end of the month. So then who are the guys after him? So it feels like that, you know, you got JD Martinez, you got Jorge Soler, and you got Teoscar Hernandez. Teoscar Hernandez actually might be done quite soon. That's a total other rumor, not involving the Jays. We're not in on Hernandez, sadly. But, you know, those guys might come soon. We might see between now and spring training, well, actually, we're going to see these guys leave the board, but we might see something maybe interesting fall place for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, right now, folks, Cody Bellinger doesn't really feel like the guy anymore. I mean, a few weeks ago, it was looking like he could be in a Toronto Blue Jays uniform, and it felt like the fit was there, and I do still think that the fit is there, but with recent comments from Ross Atkins, it just isn't really panning out.
No.
Jorge Soler, though, if he was to be the guy, and let's go down this rabbit hole a little bit, if he was to be the guy for the Toronto Blue Jays, if they did manage to go out and they are interested, according to Mark Feinstein, they do lock him down, I would be pretty happy about this, man, because this is the type of player that brings the thump, that brings the power, and that is something that the Toronto Blue Jays, they are already losing a decent amount of with Matt Chapman, and didn't have a whole lot of it last year anyways.
Yeah, dude, right before this podcast, I recorded a video room, and it's going to be coming out tomorrow, guys, so check it out. And it's essentially, it's about what's going to save the Toronto Blue Jays, but I'm not going to spoil what that is. But essentially, I'm making that argument that right now, if this is the current team that we're happy with, even if we get bounce backs from people like Varsho and Springer and hey, maybe even Kirk, like, that missing offensive war, you might just make up for the guys you're already losing in Brandon Belt, Matt Chapman, and Whit Merrifield. So, like, adding him would provide a little bit of a safety net in case some of these guys don't bounce back for all this hopeful wishing.
Yeah, 100%, dude. And I mean, look at all of that red right there. He had a phenomenal season last year. The guy finished with an 853 OPS. Yeah. Now, I will say the seasons prior, a little bit up and down. Jorge Soler, his career has been a bit of a roller coaster, and it's kind of interesting. We've been talking a lot about Jock Peterson. Jorge Soler and Jock Peterson, their career numbers are actually very similar. They're very, very similar. Yeah, it just so happens that that Jorge Soler, he is coming off of the better year, whereas Jock Peterson, he kind of had one of his down years last year, you know? So it's one of those situations where it's like, well, what do you want to bet on? You know, do you want to take the guy to bounce back, like Jock Peterson, because he has done it a bunch, or do you want to take Jorge Soler, coming off what was a very solid season last year? Personally, in my opinion, I would love both of them. I think they'd both be good in Toronto Blue Jays, boo. But 36 home runs, that is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what kind of player type you want, right? You know, you got Soler. He hits for like a mid to low batting average. But yeah, he's got the pop. He's got 36 home runs. Whereas Jock Peterson, yeah, he also hits the low batting average. Not as many home runs as last year. But in the past, he's known to pop a few, 23, 36 back in 2019. It feels like he's more of a, which is, I was gonna say more well-rounded hitter, but like it looks like his batting average doesn't really indicate that.
Well, look at the career numbers though, right? Jock Peterson right here has a 237, just with the slash line, 237 batting average career. Jorge Soler has what? 243? So very close very right similar. There. On base, Jorge Soler's got a 330. Jock Peterson has a 336. Yeah. Super similar there. 464 slugging. Wow. 467. I mean, they're the same player.
Yeah, basically with the numbers, yeah, but like how they get it done is very, you know, different. Jorge Soler, wow, this kind of shocking me. Yeah, Jorge Soler has a lot more home runs than Jock Peterson. You know, for his career, and granted, different careers, 10-year career, he's got 170. Oh, actually, no. I stand corrected. Jock Peterson has more home runs than Jorge Soler. Dude, I would have not thought that.
They're the same player.
They're literally the same player.
They're the same guy. It just so happens that Jorge Soler is coming off of a better year than Jock Peterson is, so it's like one of those situations. And I think they're the same age as well. They are literally the same player.
You know, it's actually, you know what? Here, let me throw this curveball at you, because this is why I thought the way I thought. Was in the beginning of Soler's career, he didn't hit for many home runs. And then all of a sudden, the power surge came in, 48, shortened sample of the year. We can get rid of that. 27, 13. There was something wrong with last year, but then 36. So it felt like recently you're going to get a lot more pop from a Jorge Soler. I'm actually curious here. I want to look at the last 4 years. You got an 820 OPS and Jock Peterson. Let's see. Is it going to be the same thing? We've got a 804. So 804. Slightly fraction better. But more home runs from Jorge Soler.
More home runs from Jorge Soler in the in recent memory for sure. But I mean, when you look at the careers, these guys are almost identical, and it does make sense then why we are interested in them. They both provide a lot of slug. They have a lower batting average, but really, like, we have guys that can get on base. We need dudes who drive them home. They're both going to be 32 years old starting next season. And honestly, I understand why the Toronto Blue Jays, if we are to believe Mark here, I understand why they would be interested in Jorge Soler, because he is one of those dudes who could, in his best year possible, go over 40, and he also provides protection, and that is something that we're really missing right now. Currently, if you guys look up the Toronto Blue Jays lineup, you're going to see Danny Jansen slotted into that 4-hole right behind Guerrero. I love Danny, but let's face it, guys. 1, he's not going to be healthy, and 2, like, is he really the dude that we want to be protecting Vladdy?
Yo, actually, shout out to Blue Jays Dad. I saw a projected lineup from him today, and this actually kind of changed my mind a little bit, the way I thought about it. We're really high on Alejandro Kirk here. And if we go back to 2022, when Kirk had his great year, he was batting in the 4-hole there. Yep. Now imagine if he bounces back. Him up in the 4-hole, he had Biggio, Blue Jays dad, Biggio down in the 5-hole, then Danny Jansen in the 6-hole. For some reason, for my brain, that feels a lot better. If you're getting Kirk back.
I think it really just, it all depends, like, how they do, you know? I mean, like, we need Biggio to just be better in general, and Kirk, he's got to be also better in general. And Jansen, he was phenomenal. He's just got to stay healthy. Right. So, if you get all of those things, sure, dude, I'm about it.
Granted, that not to change the conversation, but adding, instead of Kirk there in the 4-hole, you have a Jorge Soler or a Jock Peterson. Honestly, for me, I feel like the Toronto Blue Jays, even though we're interested in Jorge Soler, they're going to lean Jock Peterson. And you haven't really heard a lot of noise around Jock Peterson other than the Jays being linked to him. He feels like a J. Why? Because we need the power bat and we need a lefty. And we do need one more outfielder. Like, we can't just run with 3 outfielders and Nathan Lucas, no offense, all year long. So for him, like, if I'm going to bet any money, if we're going to grab one more guy, it's going to be him.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, just looking at their numbers back to back like that, like, I was walking into this show with a little bit of a bias towards Jorge Soler.
Yeah,
but
he's
honestly,
sexier, you know?
I mean, honestly though, like, when you look at the careers, they're basically the same guy in the last 4 years. It feels like on any given year, this guy can do better than this guy, or this guy can do better than that guy. So if you want to go out and just test the market and say, okay, which one of you is cheaper?
Yeah.
Do it. I'm good with that.
I think Peterson will be cheaper.
Then sign Peterson.
Because you got 36 home runs for Soler.
Yeah.
People are going to pay for 36 home runs.
Yeah, and I'm totally fine with that, man. At the end of the day, like, yes, I want home runs, but I'll also take a crap load of doubles, too.
Yeah,
that'll score a runner in scoring position. I don't care how it gets done, man, but, like, get the guy on second home. Yeah. You know, that's what we need.
I hear you, man. I hear you. So, guys, let us know in the comments, like, which guy would you rather have in the live chat right now on our YouTube? You let us know. Would you rather get Peterson or Soler? Forget contracts or anything. Just a player on your team. Which one would you rather have?
Yeah, let's move on, everybody, to the potential trade target here for these Toronto Blue Jays. Also, folks, if you haven't already done so, please hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and toss your questions into the chat. We'll do a quick Q&A after we're done looking at this potential trade target. But the guy in question is Jorge Polanco. You've probably heard his name before. His name has been coming up a lot. I've actually been doing a little bit of research into the Minnesota Twins and their situation, because I was wondering, okay, these guys won the Central last year. Yeah. What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Apparently,
it's these guys right here.
Apparently, well, it's those guys, but also, too, there's this whole other thing. They're getting screwed right now, man.
Why?
They're getting screwed. So their TV deal, they had this whole broadcasting deal, was with Bally Sports. Bally Sports. It's totally off topic here with Blue Jays.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It's cool for MLB. Yeah. They have this deal with Bally Sports. Bally Sports goes bankrupt. They go bankrupt. They've lost their TV deal, so right now they don't have any broadcasting deal. Nobody is broadcasting.
Yo, what the hell? Oh, wait, and the MLB picked them up, did they?
They haven't. Nothing's happened yet.
No one's picked. So I know a couple other broadcasters kind of went out and they got picked up at the MLB. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Diamondbacks. Devin the Diamondbacks.
I'm not
too?
sure about Diamondbacks.
That's off topic,
yeah.
but like, yeah, so similar shit.
It's because I was looking at it today. The last thing that I heard, and again, the MLB will do it if it doesn't happen.
Right.
But the last thing I heard that they were still trying to negotiate this deal with Bally Sports, and that was like right before Christmas.
Yeah.
And nothing has been finalized yet.
Right.
So right now, I mean, Minnesota, it's like that's why you're seeing Sonny Gray leave and all these other guys leave. Because they don't have anyone paying them money to literally broadcast their team.
Yeah.
So like they have to deal with that before anyone else, and that's probably why they're looking to potentially trade away these guys on some heftier contracts.
Right, yeah, and Jorge Soler's contract is $10.5 million, and like
Polanco.
Or excuse me, both Jorge's.
Yeah,
for
it's
real. Totally understand why I messed that one up. But yeah, Jorge Polanco, $10.5 million he's got owed for 2024, and I think he even has an option for 2025 around the same kind of deal. I think it's $12 million. But here's the other reason, other than the TV deal. When I broke him down in a video room a few weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, this was another big problem. Royce Lewis is a stud.
Yeah,
we all saw what Royce Lewis did to the Toronto Blue Jays in that wildcard series. He's a guy. And he plays third base. Eduardo Julian, shout out to the Quebec native, Canadian. He's going to be playing second base for that team moving forward. And then you got Carlos Correa, the guy that they brought back, the big free agent signing last year. That's your entire infield plus a first baseman. And Jorge Polanco, he's out of a job right now.
Yeah.
$10.5 million you're paying for a guy who's going to ride your bench. The Blue Jays might do that. The Blue Jays are capable of doing that. But apparently with no TV deal, yeah, this looks like an easy trade. And apparently right here by Nick Deeds, who writes for MLB Trade Rumors. And again, take this like you will. It's just a guy writing an article. He says the best fit for Jorge Polanco is the Toronto Blue Jays because we don't have Matt Chapman. We're losing Whit Merrifield. Even though we've added Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, we still don't have like a solid guy to play third base. He could play some third. He'd make a great fit. What do you think?
I don't see it, man.
You don't see it?
I don't. No, I don't. I like Jorge Polanco a lot as a player. I think he's phenomenal. But at the end of the day, like I don't see it. Because you have so many guys there already. Like it feels like if you're gonna trade for Jorge Polanco, then you're giving up one of your prospects probably that play a similar position. I'm just assuming here. Why are you doing that? I mean, you have so many guys there already. We just signed IKF.
Right.
Isn't that supposed to be your Jorge Polanco?
I mean, well, here's my thing, right? Again, I've always said I don't care about the money. Rogers does. I don't know why they pay $7 million for a guy who should be riding the bench, but that's exactly where he should be this season, is on the bench. This guy should be our off-the-bench guy, utility, play wherever he wants. And over at second base, it should be, you got Biggio, you got Schneider, and then at third base, maybe you got Polanco and Espinal.
Well,
that's kind of what you're riding with right now.
I would prefer that.
Yeah.
I would obviously prefer that, but you and I know that is not what Ross Atkins came out and talked about the other day. He was saying he was getting excited about how IKF. Yeah, literally, like his opportunities and what he could do at third base. And again, he could just be posturing. He could be leveraging. Maybe that's him coming out and saying, yeah, we're super excited about him, no problem. So then Matt Chapman, Matt Chapman and his agent is like, oh shit, we got to lower our price. Or the Twins are like, okay, well, if we're going to trade Jorge Polanco, we better lower our price.
I hear you.
But at the end of the day, if we're just going to take what he said at face value, this guy is excited about Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
Yeah. See, that's why I laugh, because I'm like, who are you trying to convince that you're excited about IKF? Nobody's excited about IKF. Who's excited about IKF?
Ross Atkins.
Apparently is. That's just
yeah. So that is why I don't see a fit right now, because if you bring him in, then who are you excited about, right? Like there's no way that you could potentially bring him onto this team and get all of those guys playing time. Like if you were to trade for him, Espinal or Biggio or Schneider or one of them, they have to go in the other direction.
Yeah, they have to. They have to. Go take... I mean, it's easy for me to say go take Espinal. They're going to want what they want, right? You got Jorge Polanco on a 1 year with an option. That's pretty good. And Polanco's a good player.
Yeah.
Like, you want to talk about replacing the guys that left the team this past offseason? This is the guy to do it. Like, he can do it offensively. Defensively, not so much. He's not that good. But offensively, that's the problem.
Yeah, and I mean, we do need some offense. So, again, I would happily accept him onto the team. It just, at this point, I don't understand bringing in more guys into the infield. I just don't get it.
Look, look, right now on our bench, you got Ernie Clement, and you got, I think it's either Spencer Horwitz or Nathan Lucas. Like, one of them can go. Mm-hmm. Make IKF the literal bottom barrel of your team.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I agree with you. I don't think that's what's happening.
I don't think it's happening either. I don't think it's happening either.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening, guys. I'm coming to the terms that Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is going to be a player that we see probably almost every day on the Toronto Blue Jays playing ball. And that's just like a realization that we have got to come to at this point. So, sure, would I rather trade for a 1-for-1 Isaiah Kiner-Falefa for Jorge Polanco? 10 times out of 10. I would do that 10 times out of 10. And I see some people saying we don't want Jorge Polanco. The guy almost had an 800 OPS last year. Yeah. I know he doesn't hit for pop, but he gets on base and he is hits. Solid. And he is very consistent about it, too. So, I would much rather have Jorge Polanco than IKF or one of those other guys.
If you wanted to start Jorge Polanco, and then if you really wanted to get the defense going, then put an IKF.
Right.
Just do that.
All of that to be said, though, I still don't think that there's a fit here because of how Ross Atkins is talking about this team.
I know. Well, I agree with you. If I were to bet money on it, we're not making a single trade at all. Unless it's we're sending away people for cash or doing something dumb, or we're trading for some minor league depth pitcher. That's the only trade we're gonna make. We're not trading for guys on the big league roster.
It doesn't feel that way, and no. I mean, so that's literally, folks. When you're seeing the headlines about Blue Jays in on J-Ram, unless it's Jeff Passan, don't believe it.
I don't know who would be even saying that, man.
Well, I have seen it.
You've seen it?
I've been seeing it.
It's all BS, guys.
Yeah, I don't.
It's never gonna. No, Guardians would never.
Yeah.
They would never. They got such a steal on J-Ram. Mm-hmm. Why would you ever give that up? That's the guy carrying your team right now.
I completely agree. Let's transition everybody to the Q&A section of this video. But before we do, let's give a quick shout out to the sponsor of Blue Jays Today. Whoa! Time for your daily Betway breather. A quick reminder that the best place to bet is on Betway. Must be 19 years of age or older to play. In collaboration with iGaming Ontario, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content. Yes. Shout out to Betway, everybody, for being absolutely phenomenal. They are the place to be if you have any interest in sports betting at all. Welcome to the weekend, folks. Thank you so much for everybody for tuning in. This is probably going to be an exclusive segment. We might even cut it off of the video. I'm not sure, potentially. But shout out to Scott Farr here for the donation saying still need to replace Ryu and Hicks, not Manoah. What do you mean? Replace
Hicks, but not replace Manoah?
But not replace, or you don't want Alek Manoah at all.
Oh, maybe you don't want Alek Manoah, yeah.
I mean, I do hear what you're saying. I think that Ryu is kind of an underrated loss.
He was, man. And I was really hoping we'd go and do something. That's why I'm still kind of hoping on Yasiel Rodriguez. You know what I mean? Yariel Rodriguez. Yeah. I'm really hoping that we grab him.
Me too.
But again, if of all the things that are going to happen this offseason, I don't think we're going to do that either.
No.
Well, I'm really so down in the tank right now. I'm down bad.
Well, I'm watching all these comments come in as well, and I mean, people are saying, "Oh, we're crap. We're finished. It's over. This team is garbage.
We're crap."
And I'll be honest. I feel all of those sentiments. I'm trying to fight them, but I do hear everything that you're saying, and I also want to believe that they're gonna be in on Yariel Rodriguez. But based on what Ross Atkins just said, that would take us out of the running of any other player. Because we're only getting one more guy, everyone.
That's it.
We're only getting one more guy, so you better make it the guy for this team.
Okay, so would you be on the same boat as me then? Kind of go tracing back. If it's not going to be Chapman, it's not going to be Bellinger. Would you also be on Peterson or Soler?
Well, I think that at that point, just based on the need of this team, as much as I want Yariel Rodriguez, and I do think that this kid has a lot of upside in the MLB and could be a very valuable player for whoever gets him. For the Toronto Blue Jays, you need a hitter. You need a guy. So if it's literally down to one player that you're gonna go get, it might as well be Peterson or Soler or JD Martinez. It's gotta be one of those guys.
Because look, as much as I'm down bad and I feel bad because I don't see us getting Bellinger and I don't see us getting Chapman. There are so many good corner outfield DH players left. It would be actually stupid if Ross Atkins didn't go out and at least get one of them. It would actually be stupid.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
It would be stupid.
Well, he said a lot of stupid things the other day.
Yeah, he did.
I'm not going to put anything past him.
No. And if he... Look, it's just dumb, man. Because you could literally spend under 20 mil and get this guy and still be within your budget of last year. That's why it's stupid. Unless, we were kind of saying the other day, maybe you kind of believe it. Go check out this podcast if you haven't already. It's what was it called? The one about the what's really going on with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Where we brought up and we're like, well, maybe he just doesn't have the funding. Yeah, they just literally like limited his funding. This
yeah,
offseason.
I think that is a big portion of it, and I do think that you have to make the team that you work or make the team that you have work in 2024 to then reacquire the funding. You know, you got to give these guys a reason to give you more money. I mean, let's face it, it's just a job. It's just a job. If you perform well at your job, you get a raise at the end of the year. If you perform average at your job, you do not get a raise. And if you perform below average, then you get fired. And right now, Ross Atkins has performed below average to average. So there's no money coming in, and he's on the cusp of potentially getting cut.
And even on top of that is how much did the company make this year off of this, right? I know it's Rogers. They have a whole other internet network system, right? But if you're looking at the budget they have allocated to the Toronto Blue Jays, how much is that making, right? Like, if that's not making the profits that they were projected to make, then, well, why would they give him more money to spend if it's not working?
Also, I saw this on Instagram the other day, but I'm not with Rogers at all, but apparently they were down again.
Oh, yeah, they were down again.
They were down again for like a day or something.
Oh my God,
what the hell's going on, team?
I don't know.
Why are we run by the most inept communications company on the fucking planet, you know? I have been with TELUS for legitimately, like, I think my whole life, not sponsored by TELUS at all, but like, shout out to TELUS. Never going down, never leaving me in the dark.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Rogers?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Maybe
you
you shouldn't be having a baseball team. Maybe you need to focus on actually, like, cellular devices, you know? And and the internet,
dude. Also, just a reminder, guys, put your questions in the chat. We'll read them out in just a moment. But yeah, Rogers is the most unreliable internet company.
Fuck, dude.
Let's just grab like when I worked at a company 9 to 5 like 2 years ago, and they had Rogers internet. Crap. Every day there was something wrong with it. Every day the bandwidth was low. We were all getting kicked off the internet. And then Bell, no problem with Bell. Bell was up every day.
Bro, if we were owned, look, I'll say it right now, everybody. This is straight facts. If the Toronto Blue Jays were owned by TELUS or Bell, we'd have like 5 rings by now.
Oh my God.
We'd have so many goddamn rings by now if we were owned by TELUS or Bell.
Dude.
It's Rogers' fault.
Oh yeah. Bell, dude, Rogers.
That's probably why they lost out on Ohtani. They were trying to email him and their internet went fucking down.
Yeah, that's probably why.
You know, like,
yeah. Dude, they were trying to get out like, no, that's not actually him on the plane, but they just couldn't. They just couldn't.
The internet's too
down,
shoddy, man.
It was down,
no,
man.
It's brutal, man. This is the Toronto Blue Jays way, everybody. Welcome to hell. This is Toronto Blue Jays fandom, folks. I saw a question in here earlier talking. I'm sorry, I forget who said it, but basically asking who is the #1 target at this point. Let's assume Cody Bellinger's not part of the conversation at this point.
Neither's Chapman.
I guess not. I think he's probably
if we're not getting Polanco, we're not getting Chapman.
Right. Yeah, okay. So Cody Bellinger and Matt Chapman are no longer on the potential block here for Toronto Blue Jays signings. Who would be the next #1 guy? Now that we're really starting to scrape at the bottom of the barrel. Just also, side note, what a dramatic fall-off.
I know.
Eh? What a dramatic fall-off. Oh, if this guy's not part of it, then this guy. Oh, but if this guy's not part of it, then this guy. We are going rungs down the ladder here, everybody.
Look, realistically, I do think Jock Peterson makes a lot of sense, but honestly, if you're cool with locking down a DH every day, JD Martinez is your run producer. Right. There's nobody else like JD Martinez on the free agent market other than those two guys that can produce runs. Honestly, Matt Chapman can't even produce runs like JD Martinez. JD Martinez is one of a kind. I would be targeting this guy, especially because you only have 1 or 2 years left in this window. Like if you're comfortable with getting a 1-year guy, go get him.
Yeah, because I think he is 36 or 37.
Yeah, he's getting up there, but
he's getting up there, but there's been no fall off at all, no decline.
We're comfortable with Justin Turner. No one's talking about that guy either, by the way. Like we're comfortable with getting him. Like get JD.
Same deal. Yeah. And I mean, JD Martinez was roughly 100 OPS points better than Justin Turner last year. Like he was phenomenal for the LA Dodgers. Granted, he was among the LA culture, and I imagine that the LA culture is probably pretty good over there.
Yeah.
You know, being right behind Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, you feel like you got to put up.
Hey, I mean, Jock Peterson, he had his best years, like with the home run total in LA. So there you go.
I agree. I do agree with you. I think that maybe, I don't know if I would prefer. It's tough to say. I mean, I do like Jock Peterson. I do think that he would be really cool.
Right.
But yeah, maybe I would stick with JD Martinez just because of the safety.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking like I brought up the whole like being comfortable with the DH spot. Like I'm thinking too, like if you need to sit one of your outfielders, like you still got Biggio and IKF plays center field
apparently
a lot. So like they can go in the outfield. That would open up a spot for like Espinal or Schneider in the infield. So, like, yeah, I'm cool with that, man.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I just had the thought as well there, because I didn't rule him out. I would also be so down to get Josh Hader, but that's never going to happen.
That's never going to
happen. That's never going to happen.
That's not.
It also wouldn't fix our problems at all, but, like, damn, it would be cool.
It would help lock down the games for a bad offense.
Yeah.
Like, if we scraped in 3 runs, it would work.
No, I mean, like, the strategy would legitimately be score 2 a game, we win.
Dude, that was our strategy last year.
It didn't
work.
We couldn't fucking do it, man.
It didn't work.
Didn't matter how many times Kevin Gausman goes 7 innings, 1 earned run, or Berrios puts up a gem. Doesn't matter, man. Does not matter.
Dude, I'm looking up right now. Do you remember? I remember Game 2 score was 1-0 against the Twins in the wild card series. What was Game 1?
I thought it was 3-1.
That sounds right. 3-1.
Yeah.
It was
3-1, baby.
3-1. We scored 1 effing run in the entire series, and we gave up 4. So what you're saying is, we gotta score 2. Dude, it didn't work.
If we score 2, we at least get a Game 3.
Yeah.
In my model.
Yeah.
In my model. You know?
Jesus
But we
Christ.
couldn't even do that, man.
And we have less bats.
Yeah.
And we have less bats.
Yeah.
That's the problem, bro. But again, look, I know we keep talking about less bats, and like the offense is gonna get worse and worse, but like what did the small sliver of hope is that they can't get any worse. You know, the guys that we have on the team, they're gonna get better a little bit, you know what I mean?
That's not the small sliver of hope. That's the fucking off-season plan. You know, like, literally Ross Atkins walks into the meetings and say, well, guys, they can't get any worse, you know? That's his actual plan this off-season, you know? Well, we don't need to go out and spend money because they can't get any worse. I guess he's right. You know, like, it is really tough to score only 1 run in a two-game series like that. Like, you gotta think that they're gonna do better than that.
Dude, I'm just thinking right now, like, this lineup is definitely worse than 2021 when we had 7.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely worse.
Yeah.
I think this might be the worst offense since either 2020 or 2019. Because at least 2020 you didn't have Springer, but you had Biggio being well. You had Teoscar Hernandez, who was a Silver Slugger, right? You had Rowdy. You had Kirk come up late season breakout. Like, you actually had some really interesting pieces there. So is this a worse offense than 2020? Has it been a worse offense since 2019?
Well, I would argue that you're walking in with the same question marks as 2020.
Yeah.
Right? Because right now, I mean, like, what's different? Like, Vladdy's basically the same.
Yeah,
I mean, like, he's literally
coming off 2020.
Yeah, like
2019. I mean,
yeah, like he's literally basically the same guy right now. Where we're kind of asking ourselves, is he gonna break out? Is he gonna be the guy? Like, we have no idea.
We've gone full circle.
We've literally gone full circle with that guy, right? So, like, he's basically the same. Bo Bichette, I think he just came up in 2019.
Yeah, and he looked promising. He like 300.
So we were excited about him, which is kind of the same situation right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Biggio, we were like somewhat excited about. You know,
we were excited about Biggio
because he had a great on base. Like, his on base was just phenomenal.
Yeah,
like,
that one didn't pan out.
It didn't pan out. Yeah. So honestly, I'm gonna make a hot take. This is the worst offense coming into the season since 2019.
Right.
Well, better than 2019, but probably a little bit less than 2020. Even actually, going into 2020, Teo didn't break up. Remember, we were kind of crapping on him a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe it is like 2020.
I think you're walking in with the same kind of question marks. I think there's a lot of stuff that still need to be figured out. Like, we have to right the ship in some capacity, and it doesn't mean that it's not gonna sort itself out at some point in the season. But yeah, I mean, they haven't really done the off-season work to give yourself the best chance possible to make that happen.
Right. Hey, I got a quick question here from Inked Rails, saying, when do you see Rogers giving Atkins and Shapiro the axe? And we actually kind of talked about this briefly on the last podcast. If they fail to make playoffs this year. Like, if they fail to make playoffs, I don't see a reality where they don't get axed.
I personally also think, too, that if they do make playoffs, but we see a similar story that we've seen in the last 2 years, like, if you make playoffs again and you get swept or you don't win a series and you do it in dramatic fashion, because it, frankly, like, it's been really bad the last 2 years, right? Like, you had the utter cataclysmic blow up in 2021, right? Or in
Right.
2022.
2022, yeah.
Excuse me. You had that utter cataclysmic blow up, right? George Springer and Bo collide in center field, right? So that was, and you're up by a crazy amount and you lose that game. That was embarrassing. And then you had this other embarrassing thing, completely other side of things, other side of the coin, where you score 1 run and you only give up 4, right? Like if they lose again, even if they make playoffs, I think they're still gone.
I hear you, yeah. You know what's funny, man? You think about those 2 wild card series, 2022 and 2023. They both captured the Blue Jays' entire season of 162 in 2 games.
No, it's fucking
miraculous.
What I mean?
Because you think about 2022, we popped off. Teo, 2-homer game, like offense popping off. But what hurt us? The bad defense and the bullpen. That hurt us, right?
Yeah.
And then 2023, great pitching performances, stellar, a great bullpen. Poor management by John Schneider and an inability to score runs and have good base running.
Yeah.
That hurt us in the end.
And it's
comical.
all of it. You saw all of it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of tough to do, man. I mean, 162 games is a lot. And we managed to capture the entirety of it in a 2-game, in 18 innings of baseball.
Bro, I kind of want to go back one day if I ever have time, and I just want to rewatch the last wild card series and just remind myself of how it felt like. I'm like, yeah.
That's too much pain for me, man. That's a little bit too much pain there, everybody. But let's face it, guys. If they don't go out and they don't get us a Jock Peterson or a Jorge Soler, I mean, even if they do get one of those guys, it might be a pain that we have to become very familiar with.
Yeah, it is. Also, unpopular opinion, but Shapiro is good at his job. And that's not to make money. He's done a good job with the Renos. Okay,
Atkins sucks, though.
Atkins sucks, though, he says. That's one of our comments here. I mean, Shapiro is just dishing money. Like, that's what he's doing. He's spending money.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what else he does,
that's
though.
That's honestly,
fair.
that's the thing. I mean, the Renos are great, right? And I mean, he's definitely got his hand in that, but there's a lot of people that is doing a lot of work for him.
Yeah.
And granted, he's kind of seeing over all of it. But yeah, to be completely honest, I don't know exactly what it is that Mark Shapiro does. So I think just because of that, he's out of the limelight enough, so we're not hating on him. Ross Atkins, though, he is in direct management of the player acquisitions, the trades, the signings, the extensions, everything. And even though you can argue, okay, he's gone out and he's spent money and everything like that, well, he hasn't employed the proper managers then to get the best out of his team, and that is also something that he deals with, right?
Right.
So it's just not working from one of them.
Also, Larry Gore says, "Good lads, so much fun. Please don't take the weekend off. I think something is close." Larry, man.
I hope you're right, dude. I hope you're right.
Larry, I can't hold your words account. I really can't hang on to them, man.
Well, listen.
If I do, I'm gonna stress myself out.
Message any one of the analysts, and you'll see a tweet in 30 minutes saying sources say Blue Jays are close. Because that's what this offseason
Trust me, bro, Larry.
Trust me, bro. Larry Gorse is coming out and saying it. Dude, I want to believe you. I appreciate you for saying that. I promise you, we will not be taking the weekend off. But don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath.
If something comes up, we're here. We're here.
Question from Justin saying, what do you guys think of Alex Anthopoulos coming back to the team after Atkins is gone or something? Never gonna happen, dude. This guy's looking to win 3, 4, 5 rings with the Atlanta Braves. Why on earth would he leave?
Dude, and the Braves would never give up AA.
No.
You literally changed our franchise around.
Yeah.
You would never do that.
And literally, even if the Toronto Blue Jays offered him $100 million, Atlanta comes back with $200 because they know how much he means to that organization.
Yeah.
They say, we are going to keep you no matter what. And GG for Atlanta for recognizing that and for holding on to him.
And we didn't recognize that. That's really sad. Every Blue Jay fan in 2015 was like, we have to keep him. Mm-hmm. We have to keep him. This guy literally turned our team from garbage in the 2000s to elite as hell back in the playoffs, and we let him walk?
Yeah.
Stupidest decision ever.
Yeah.
We also got a question in here, too. Where was it here? It kind of went away a little bit.
Yes. Jordan Hicks?
Yeah, Alex, who is replacing Jordan Hicks?
Good question.
Nobody.
Right now. It's no one.
It's minor league.
That's something that needs to be addressed, though, and it's one of those more underrated things because you have the lineup being problem number one, but there are other problems, right? And because of the Toronto Blue Jays haven't addressed problem number one, we don't even have the luxury to think about problem number 2 or problem number 3 or problem number 4, but that is up there. Replacing Jordan Hicks and making the bullpen good, that is important, because if you are going to walk into the season with a subpar offense, and what's to say that it's not going to be subpar, because it sure as hell was last year, you are going to need to have an elite bullpen. I do not want to go back to the dark days of garbage bullpen blowing the games.
Well, you know, one shoe's going to drop. If we end up having a good offense, one other shoe's going to fall off.
And
it's going to
get them all right.
We can't get them all right. Also, Screams has a good point here. In terms of just the roster spot, nobody's replacing him. But in terms of his role on the team, he says Chad Green, says Screams in the comments. Yeah, Chad Green is now up there for the setup role.
And we can only hope that he is coming back into form. Because, again, the dude basically took all of last year off, you know. So it's very tough to say for sure that he is going to be that guy. Folks, we appreciate all of you guys taking some time, hanging out with us on this Friday night and everything like that. Let us know your thoughts about everything that we talked about in the comments down below. We got a video coming out tomorrow, video coming out the next day, video coming out a day after that. Oh, hell, would you look at that. Videos coming out literally every single day.
Hold on. Are we called Blue Jays today?
For real. For
wow.
real, man. Yeah. Hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, everybody. We appreciate every single one of you guys. And as always,
go Jays, go!